What is up, everybody? I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And I'm Mendy Sean 45, and we are live for this special live stream show for the week of the Rose Bowl. We don't know for sure if anybody's with us yet because the counter is not up on the left-hand side of the screen here. Well, there it is, just popped up. Now we just wait for the people to start coming in because we know there will be some here.
Of course, always.
But I'll tell you one thing, Ben, this has been an awesome past 4 or 5 days or so. I mean, that preview, over 3,000 views already.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the preview is totally blown up, which to be honest with you, I totally expected it just because of who's in the playoffs. And anytime you do a preview for a big name marquee matchup like Notre Dame and Alabama, you're going to get viewers, so I'm super excited. We've actually eclipsed the 150 sub mark. We are officially at 174 subs, which is just absolutely incredible. Never thought to see that many on this channel, but here we are. So, apparently we're doing something right, or maybe something wrong. Who knows? So
who knows? Yeah, who knows?
I'm not going to lie, It's also nice to know that Miami is getting their butts kicked by Oklahoma State right now, so can't be too unhappy about that,
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because you sent me a text earlier during the day asking me who I thought would win, and I really had nothing vested in the game. Are you doing Bowl Mania or something?
No, I just posted on our page's show. Or our show's page. So
I knew what you meant.
Wise and stuff. So I picked Miami to win. I didn't want them to win. Let's just we'll start there. But I'm happy to be wrong, if you will. So
right.
Yeah, like I said, can't complain. I feel bad for King. The Miami quarterback, he got injured, and it doesn't look like he will return. So that is no bueno in my opinion. But, yeah, can't be too unhappy, though, to see the Hurricanes lose or be losing. The game is still far from over. So.
Yep. Oh, yeah. What was I going to say? Well, so far it looks like I went with the right choice because I just randomly told you Oklahoma State.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I mean, you picked right, even if it was a guess, I guess. But
well, you should have done the Bowl Pick'em Mania or whatever it's called, because I've been doing pretty good so far with my picks.
Yeah, this year I didn't really do. Normally I do. Normally I have some people I do it with, but this year things have been so hectic and chaotic and odd because of COVID and all that. So, plus there have been bowl games getting canceled. Missouri and Arkansas. Or no, Arkansas and TCU just canceled their bowl game officially today. Missouri canceled their bowl game. I don't know who they were going to play. They're going to play somebody.
Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa. Yeah. Battle of two black and gold teams, if you will.
Which bowl game was the Arkansas TCU game?
I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know. I just heard that it was canceled. I saw Arkansas posted about it. So, it's a bummer. It's an absolute bummer, to see that those games were canceled. But, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I said this on the video that I just did that you let me fly solo on. It's kind of a, in my opinion, maybe not necessarily a good thing. That's probably the wrong choice of word here, but a lot of these bowl games anyway are just, the cheesy sponsored name ones that really are just for pushing a brand, and you've heard me go on and on before about that concept, about how when it's just the sponsor, it sucks.
Yeah.
Because I think there needs to be some about. Oh, there's an echo.
No, I turned on our thing. Just to see what's going on with everything else.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we do have 3 viewers, it looks like, that just popped up.
Yeah, can't complain too much about that. So,
well, now that we officially have an audience, let's talk about more about the about our game that's coming up in the Rose Bowl against Alabama. Of course, all week it's been since we did the preview, it's been more of the same from basically all over the place. Pretty much nobody is giving us a chance to win this game. Haters, of course, we knew that was going to happen. But even in our own fan base, nobody really has any faith in us, and that's pretty sad.
Yeah, no, it is. It is very sad to me.
What's up, Craig? Nice to see you.
Don't even start with the pineapples. Gosh, I was hoping to avoid that topic altogether right now.
Did I say the word pineapple once until Craig brought it up? No, I didn't.
Bringing it up, and now you're going to talk about it.
No, I'm talking about the Rose Bowl.
It is sad. It's sad for me to even think that there are people that quote unquote back the team that have no faith. None. And Dwayne, how are you? Nice to see you.
What's up, Dwayne?
I don't know how you can call yourself a true fan if that's your mentality. I really don't. And I mean, I don't even know what to say. It is infuriating to me.
Let me tell you something. I was on. I made a brief appearance on Big Vol Daddy's live stream last night, and he asked me what our chances were, and I told him I think our chances are a lot better than what people are giving us credit for. And I told him how basically what's going on in the Notre Dame fan base, and I'm like, yeah, nobody is giving us a chance to win this, especially in our own fan base. I mean, everybody is so they're basically poo-pooing the fact that we even made it to the playoffs. And I'm like, what kind of fan base does that? What kind of fan base actually gets disappointed when your team makes the playoffs to try and win a national championship? We're the only fan base that does that, and it's pathetic. And of course, there was one guy, what was his screen name? It was some dude who calls himself Vandy Dandy. I'd seen him before. He says, "Well, Irish fans should want to not go to the playoffs and avoid another embarrassment." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. So us being there right now is an embarrassment, but yet look at all the teams that have gotten to the playoffs since its inception and have completely embarrassed themselves. I mean, Oklahoma is 0-4 in the playoffs."
Right.
Michigan State got blown out in their lone appearance. They didn't even put a point on the board. At least when we played Clemson in 2018, we at least got a field goal, which I know it's not saying much, but still.
Right. Yeah. No. It's one of those that saying to my friends that we can beat Alabama, and they all laughed at me and said, "Okay."
Oh, Crimson Brave, I just saw you. Welcome. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here.
All bow down to Alabama. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Alabama's the dynasty right now. I mean, Clemson's kind of creeping up on that dynasty, but Alabama, I think a situation that a lot of people don't give Alabama enough credit for is the coaching staff. Because us here in Notre Dame country and the Notre Dame fandom, we've seen coaches come and go actually pretty frequently. Not going to lie. Brian Van Gorder, Mike Elko, and now Clark Lee, defensive coordinator wise. So, I mean, to say that.
Whoa. You're not putting Brian Van Gorder in the good coaches category, are you?
I'm just saying coaching carousel.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, it's very, 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 very hard to keep good coaches in college football because once you start getting with a program that is winning, as in Alabama, people want you. I mean, we see it in all of major sports. When guys win championships, whether it's a player or a coach, other teams want that guy. And for whatever reason, Alabama does a great job at keeping their guys around. And that is why they are as successful as they have been. I really think that I want to say the only two people that they've lost that were big namers, quote unquote big namers, is Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and then they replaced them with just as good, if not better, people. So it's incredible. It really is for Alabama. And Notre Dame has to do, in my opinion, a better job of that. You know, I losing Clark Lee to me is a very, very, very big blow. And it's sad, and I wish him the best. I mean, it is not a situation where it's sour grapes. You know, he's got his dream job, as he said. He's a graduate of Vanderbilt, so hopefully he can turn around Vanderbilt. You know, it'd be neat to see that happen. But a lot of people before him have failed. I mean, they have gone in, you know, preaching, we're going to change, we're going to make Vanderbilt a winning program, all that, and it just hasn't happened.
I gotta say this, and I know this is gonna make me sound like an asshole, but if Clark Lee is able to turn Vanderbilt around and get them on somewhat of a winning path, that's all. Excuse me, that's awesome. But who in the hell would call Vanderbilt their dream job? I mean, I get he's an alumni and all that, but come on.
I don't know. Look at us. We're two, you know, diehard Notre Dame homers. I mean,
yeah,
you know, I don't know. I mean, even if Notre Dame didn't have all those titles and all that, you know, we'd probably still be touting the Notre Dame line. So I don't know. I try to put myself in that perspective, but yeah, that's just, you know, the juggernaut that is Alabama, and Clemson has started to duplicate that, and that's why they're, you know, building a dynasty over and down in Clemson, South Carolina. So you know, and a Crimson Brave makes a good point. You know, they're bringing in elite QBs at Alabama. Yeah, I mean, you know, you lose Tua to my Dolphins. Thank you very much for that. And you know, everybody was saying, you know, what's Jones going to do? Is Jones going to be able to you know, replicate what Tua has done? And Jones, I mean, he took off. So, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. But
well, I got to take a quick moment here to welcome some new guys that just joined us. First one, Big Balls Ian Book. Interesting name there. Yeah. He has a comment that says, "It's hard to have faith when we've seen what's happened literally every single time we played in this type of game. Happy to make the playoffs and always going to support the team, but it's scary." Well, you know, anything can happen. I mean, yeah, our track record as of late has not looked good as far as big games go, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I don't know what else you can say about it. I've tried to come up with an answer, and I don't really have one. It's been a struggle. Why? I don't know. I think maybe a part of it is we keep trying to do our same old thing. And I even said this in the preview. If we want to start winning these big games in the postseason, these major bowl games, playoffs, or the other four that we might show up in, you have to change it up and you have to really bring the fire. And we haven't done that. Yeah. At least from what I've seen in, you know, our recent unfortunate streak of losing these big games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's adjustments is kind of what we've always stressed.
Well, and also, like I said too in the preview, I mean, Tommy Rees is our offensive coordinator. He keeps doing a lot of what past offensive coordinators at Notre Dame have done, and they have this thing where they want to run the same. They want to run the same thing 9 straight times and hope it works on the 10th.
Right.
You can't do that. If something's not working, you got to change it right away and go with something else.
Yeah.
I mean, this is coaching 101, and I'm not even a coach.
Right. Yeah. No.
But also.
Crimson asked a good question. And I have a really great answer for you. He said, thoughts on other Finn fans bashing Tua despite being a rookie. Well, okay, Notre Dame fans, they're in the same, Miami fans are in the same realm of Notre Dame fans. They think that they deserve wins. They think they deserve a championship. And Dolphin fans are very, very negative and skeptical of everything. They continuously gripe and complain about who the Dolphins draft. There is never a good draft. There is never a good player. There's never a good coach. The Dolphins could draft the best player known to man, and people would still find a reason to complain. I mean, it is unbelievable. And Dolphin fans have no faith. Now, to digress for a second and say, well, what have the Dolphins done? And what has Notre Dame done? I mean, not much in 30 years, not much. And when you start thinking that things are going to go well and then they don't, because, I mean, look what happened with Adam Gase with the Dolphins. Adam Gase got him into the playoffs, first few seasons he was coach, and then back down the crapper. So I think that's part of it. And I feel like a lot of people expect too much right away from these guys. They see the Kyler Murrays of the world come in and just really start to light it up. Lamar Jackson lit it up immediately. And not everybody is like that. I mean, the NFL is a big jump. I had family play in the NFL, hence why I'm a Dolphins fan. I had family play for the Dolphins. I mean, my family member was an All-American player, coming out of college, and there's just a big jump. So I say give guys, especially quarterbacks, 2 to 3 years to really, really find themselves and then start going from there. The fans are idiots, and that's all I got to say.
Well, that's the thing, not everybody is going to do that. I mean, what Lamar Jackson and all those guys who have been good from right out of the gate, that doesn't happen all the time. You can't expect that right away. If it happens, that's awesome.
Right.
Really, it is, of course, but you can't expect a guy to be that great at the NFL level. It's not a guarantee that's going to happen. The majority of the time, it's going to be the opposite. Guys are going to need time to find their game in the NFL because it's a different level of play.
Yeah. Well,
and also, how many top college guys have we seen go to the NFL and fail?
Right. Yeah. My thing with the NFL is it's a way different game than college. It is, your playbooks are way deeper. Playbooks are way more complex. Schemes are way more complex, and everybody is there for a reason. Tua is not there in the NFL with the same players that he had at Alabama. Okay. Alabama players could start and be starters immediately anywhere else. Okay. All 100 and however many teams we got now, 128, 130, whatever it is, they could go and be first stringers. Okay. When you get in the NFL, everybody's just as good, if not better than you. So there's that huge gap, and you have to really be a student of the game, and you have to up your game. I mean, J.J. Watt talked about it this past weekend in his post-game press conference. You got to be willing to put in the work. And, I mean, the Dolphins just started a rebuild with Tua. I mean, Tua's the future in the franchise.
Yeah, and as I think, Crimson Brave mentioned it, he's having a pretty good season.
Well, the Dolphins I think the Dolphins are a year ahead of schedule, in my opinion. I did not expect to see 2 years into the rebuild, second year with Brian Flores, be potentially making the playoffs. If the Dolphins beat the Bills this weekend, they make the playoffs. I didn't see that coming in year 2. I saw that being potential year 3, but not year 2.
That makes two of us. The Bears are in the same scenario. Bears win, they're in the playoffs. If we don't win, gotta hope for the Cardinals to lose. So if you told me that the Bears had a shot at the playoffs after that 6-game losing streak, I would have said, "Shut the hell up."
And I don't know. It's it's a different ball game. I mean, when you're in college, you can pretty much do a couple plays and be dominant and throw a ball up. Into his case, throw the ball up and your receiver will come down with it 9 times out of 10. In the NFL, it ain't like that. So there's that. But
there's a comment earlier that I wanted to read, but I couldn't get to right away. Benny, he says, I believe we'll beat Bama and shock the world, and there's nothing you can do that'll convince me otherwise. See, that's the confidence that we need from our fan base that just isn't showing. And again, it's really sad to see that the good chunk of our fan base is actually disappointed about making the playoffs. And I'm not trying to change subjects here. Also, Goose Sports, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to our live stream.
Yeah, no, you have to have faith in your team. I mean, it's when my Dolphins were bad, I thought they could win the game, but I mean, that's me being a fan. And yes, Craig, I agree. I do. I love what Miami's doing. Yes, I do. They are finally looking like an actual team as opposed to a dumpster fire. Big Balls Ian Book says, give Tyree the rock. Yes, Alabama's got a very physical and very amazing running back in Najee. And, we have 2 amazing running backs at Notre Dame with Williams and Tyree needs to be angry. And Williams needs to be angry too, but Williams has played phenomenal this season. Tyree has played great too, and they both need to ball out against Alabama for us.
Absolutely. And as I touched on this, speaking of young players, not just Chris Tyree, not only does he need to handle the rock a lot more, why Jordan Johnson is not playing, and I haven't heard anything about this. I don't know if he's in Brian Kelly's doghouse for the punch against South Florida or what, but that's a kid that needs to be on the field.
Well, yeah. I mean, and if you want to take it a step further, Johnson and why am I always blanking on his name? Gosh, our speedster. Who am I thinking of?
Oh, Braden Lindsey.
Johnson and Lindsey are not on the roster for the Rose Bowl.
That's funny. Brian Kelly just mentioned Braden Lindsey in his press conference.
So, I mean,
that's got to be an error or something.
Unless there's like a final roster that hasn't been submitted yet. But, I mean, I don't know. I heard another podcast talking about, his injury and stuff and saying it might actually be more severe than people thought and all that. I've heard Johnson is struggling with his grades. Well, that's the Notre Dame way, so that would make a lot more sense than anything else. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. And I've been seeing the skeptics saying that, we could lose both of them to the transfer portal. I hope to God that is not the case. I really, really do.
Yep.
But Notre Dame standards, and I read a great article from Saturday Down South on Brian Kelly and Notre Dame as a program, and they're right. Notre Dame standards are way higher than most universities, and it is very hard to be an athlete at Notre Dame. So,
and Big Balls Ian Book makes a great comment here, and we actually covered this too in the preview. Michael Mayer is the ultimate safety blanket for Ian Book. It seems he always gets the ball on 3rd down. Hope he has a big game. Yeah, that's one of the strategies that I think needs to happen in this game is they need to get the ball to Michael Mayer a lot. Because as you said, Ben, this is a kid who is a man among boys because he is developing so fast it's not even funny, and he's really come up big for us this season in a lot of ways, not just with receiving but blocking as well. Same with Tommy Tremble.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and if you were to tell me, hey, we got this freshman coming in and he is going to be a Cole Kmet type tight end, and he's going to be just as good, if not better, I would have been like, bullshit. I don't believe you. There's no freaking way. And that was my big concern with losing Cole Kmet was who was going to step up because, I mean, Tommy Tremble's good. Don't get me wrong. but he is not a Cole Kmet, Michael Mayer tight end. And that was my concern with this season was who will be that playmaking tight end that is the Rob Gronkowski, Anthony Gonzalez type that you can go to time in and time out whenever you need a big time gain, you can go for him. And Mayer stepped into that role immediately and has proven that. And the big thing that you do against SEC teams is you outmuscle them and you give it to guys that are monsters. And Mayer is that monster. I mean, and look what we did against Georgia. Kmet bullied Georgia. So, we need that. And we need, warriors like Tremble. I mean, Tremble is a monster. You see him coming at you to block, you better watch out. So, yeah, they both have their roles, if you will. But, yeah, we got to get Mayer going early and often in this game.
Well, not just Michael Mayer, but all of his teammates have to start doing some bullying too, because even though, like you said with Cole Kmet, bullying Georgia, we still lost the game, unfortunately. So that's something that has to change. Is everybody has to start being a bully. Can't just be one guy.
Yeah, I went and watched a couple of the Alabama losses. I went and watched teams that have beaten Alabama.
And I got to interrupt you for 1 second, Ben, because I think it was Crimson Brave. I think it was you who pointed this out to me on the preview. But Ben, do you remember when I said in the preview that I can't remember the last time that Alabama did not play in the playoffs or an NY6 bowl?
Uh-huh.
I was wrong. They only played in the Citrus Bowl last year, and I had forgotten about that. So I stand corrected, minor mistake. And besides Crimson Brave, you should be giving me respect that I thought you guys played in a bigger bowl last year.
They played a good team, though. They played Michigan last year in the bowl game. And I remember Michigan kind of had their way with them in the first half. And I was like, oh, Lord Jesus. Like, we will never hear the end of it with Michigan fans. We will never hear the end of it if they beat Alabama. Like, oh my God. But no.
Their nickname is Scum for a reason. So take it with a grain of salt.
Back to the Alabama situation. I went and watched some games. And I watched the most recent one that they lost, which is the Iron Bowl to Auburn last year. Dude, Auburn was physical. Those guys were just as physical, if not more physical, than Alabama in that game. And the other thing that I stressed in the preview is making tackles. Like, every time Auburn needed to make a tackle against Alabama, they made that tackle. And it's like that. Those are the things that you have to do to be successful. Okay, if you want to be there and you want to show what's what, that's what you got to do. I mean, and it seems stupid. It seems so freaking stupid, but it's like what my coach for the Dolphins says. TNT takes no talent. Okay, shit that takes no talent. Tackling, knowing when the snap is, snap count, not making penalties, limiting big plays takes no freaking talent, man.
Well, how many times did we see that against Clemson in the ACC title game? So many missed tackles, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's basic fundamentals of football right there. You can't be missing tackles or else they're going to make you pay. And Travis Etienne did that, and you can bet your ass if we do that against Alabama, Najee Harris is going to do the same damn thing, only worse.
Right.
And so you have to – what drives me crazy too, and I'm not saying that we did this, but we did a few times though. These guys thinking that you can just take a guy down with your shoulder by just giving him a little shoulder tackle or a little shoulder push. Wrap the ball carrier up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're playing top level college football. That should be well known. You should know how to do that. But anyway, trying to get back to some of the questions and comments here. Craig Sebring asks a question that I've been asked a lot, and I'm still trying to figure out a true answer to that. But he asks, do you think Notre Dame should lower their academic standards to get better players? And I mean, look, the requirements to get into Notre Dame are ridiculous. We all know that. But at the same time, no matter how far you go in football, it's not going to last forever. I mean, you do need to have a backup plan. And I like that, Brian Kelly, and not just him, but, Lou Holtz stressed this and so on. But eventually football is going to end, and you're going to need a backup plan. And that's why they've always said Notre Dame is not just a 4-year plan, it's a 40-year plan. It's to get guys ready for their life. And another thing too is, okay, yeah, we could lower our standards and try to get some guys that may not be the best students, and that's not a put down. So I hope nobody takes it that way. I'm not saying the guy's dumb.
You're talking to two of the guys that weren't the best two students in the world. Okay, so we're never gonna have that as a put down.
Well, I think I did pretty well, but obviously not Notre Dame well. Of course not.
Right. We're guys that we didn't go. But I didn't go the whole 9 yards. If that's what you're looking for. So. It is what it is. But yeah, academic standards, I don't know. To me, it's a double-edged sword. It's what makes Notre Dame so unique and amazing. But yeah, it is kind of a handicap, if you will. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a very, very, very hard question to answer. And the only thing I can really say is people really don't understand how many actual 4- and 5-star recruits that Notre Dame does get. And Notre Dame has it. They are on the exact same number as Alabama and Clemson for 5- and 4-star recruits. So it's not like Notre Dame isn't bringing in talent. Now, it is, some of those guys that are the 4- and 5-star recruits, we're losing to transferring out. And we're, losing out on them being and making an impact in the program. We lost Phil Dracovic, so what I've always said is not every guy can go into a program and make a difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not every program is good for every guy.
Well, I guess also something to add to that as well, another angle that you have to look at that is, all right, for the guys that aren't getting it done with the grades, look at all the guys that are on the team as well that are doing the same thing, going through the 3 practices a day, the ridiculous class schedule, that are making the grades,
right,
along with football. So it kind of goes both ways here,
Yeah.
So that's something that has to be factored in. Oh, and also, welcome back, Dwayne. Where'd you order from tonight?
Yeah, Big Balls is another good one. What are your guys' thoughts on playing a little ball control offense and keep away to kill the clock and limit possessions?
I'd love it.
It's one of those things where it makes me a little nervous to say, okay, well, let's really, really focus on, chewing the play clock up. And, if you go through Alabama losses, you got to put up points. It's a race to 40 or 50 points against Alabama. That's just, how it goes. You can look at their last, I'd say six losses. And all of them, the team that beat them scored over 40 points. So you're not going to get to 40, killing the clock, and I don't know. I see both sides of it. I see the side, let's kill the clock and really, put their defense in a bad spot and let their defense really get worn out. But then at the same time, their offense is sitting and resting. And then that, and I don't know. It makes me nervous both ways, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. So I'm thinking back to my high school days here, and our offense, we ran what's called a wing T, which is the quarterback and 3 total running backs. It's kind of like an option, but it's more it's more fast paced and not really, I don't know. I'm not the best at explaining it, but basically what that offense did was we would go when it worked, when it was successful, we would go, no joke, on like 8-9 minute drives, finish with a touchdown, and that didn't leave our opponent much time. So they had to play hurry up. The only problem with that offense, though, is when you fell behind, it was kind of hard to play catch up.
And that's my thing is, okay, if we fall behind, okay, you can't be doing that. You got to have that sense of urgency, that almost like up-tempo, almost no huddle offense against Alabama. So I don't know, man. It's Alabama's a solid. I mean, what more can you say? They're a solid program. I mean, top to bottom, defense, offense, special teams, you name it. They're tough. So,
Oh, and by the way, Dwayne, good choice. I was going to guess Papa John's.
Yeah. Craig brings it up, and he hit the nail on the head. You gotta score points in the red zones. In your red zone. Yes. Okay. The Clemson game, Notre Dame should have been up 14-0 against Clemson after Notre Dame's first two possessions. And what were they? Okay. So you got to do that against Alabama if you want to keep pace, and the biggest thing that worries me, okay, and this is something that I didn't bring up in the preview, is our kicker. Notre Dame's kicker, not going to lie, stinks, okay? You cannot rely on him. I'm sorry to say it. I hate saying that about some of our guys, but it's true, okay? You got to score touchdowns. You cannot put the game on his foot. He has proven he is not the guy to put it on his foot. This is not Justin Yoon, okay? This is Jonathan Dorr, unfortunately. So, yes, 7 points in the red zone. You get in the red zone, you score a touchdown. No field goals. Totally agree. Good evening.
Oh, yeah, Mark Pylon, welcome, dude. I like his comment here. How's it going, guys? We're ready for Alabama. Watched an interview with Kyle Hamilton. They're on a different mindset. They're hungry and not intimidated. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Because I said this. I mean, sometimes what can help a team going into the postseason is being humbled. And hopefully that loss to Clemson gave the Irish a chip on their shoulder, and hopefully they use it.
Yeah. Yeah. Bob Walker says, hello, dudes. I think there's more pressure on the Irish offense because they will need to put up touchdowns, not field goals, to keep pace with the Bama offense. Totally agree, Bob. And then, oh man, your name.
Carnivorous lunar activity.
Okay, there you go. Good evening. Yeah, good evening, dude. Glad to see you. Glad you're here. Yeah, there's some good pizza names in here. Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Hut. I definitely am the connoisseur myself, so can't complain with all those names mentioned.
Papa Nastas, is that local in your guys' area, Dwayne? Because I've never heard of that place.
Yeah, I noticed that our kicker makes long field goals and misses short ones. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Like, I've noticed that too, and it's like, well, wait, shouldn't it be the other way around? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I know. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing or something. I don't know.
Well, speaking of our kicking game, I know we have a kid that's on he's a preferred walk-on at the moment. His name's Harrison Leonard. I haven't seen him kick, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. Heard he has quite a leg. And then I don't know the kid's name, but we also got a 3-star kicker in our current class. And I know 3 stars is 3 stars, but oh, I'm sorry, Dwayne. I thought that was a pizza place that you were talking about. It kind of sounds like it though, Papa Nastas.
Yeah, it does.
It kind of sounds Italian a little bit.
Same thing. So, oh my gosh. Okay.
But I was gonna say, Papa. The name of a kicker, and I think it's a pizza place. Wow. Oh boy. I mean, you could say that I made a blooper there, but I didn't know it was a guy. I thought it was the name of a restaurant. But I was
I mean,
I was gonna try. I'm gonna try and say this one more time. We have a kicker in our 2021 class, and 3-star kicker, which I know people look at that and say, "Oh, it's a 3-star, big whoop." Well, do kickers really get more than 3 stars anyway? I've never seen a 5-star kicker.
all right, that a 3-star kicker is like a 5-star running back. Let's just, yeah, no, Crimson says their kicker hasn't missed a field goal this year. Holy crap! I wish we could say the same thing. We'd probably be in a different conversation right now if that was the case. But teams, you'd be amazed though. Special teams can really hurt you. I mean, you would think that you got a great offense, you got a great defense, you're good to go. But sometimes you need a good kicker or a good punter, and if they can't get the job done, it really really hampers your team. So
I'm sorry, Ben. I'm still in Papanastis land.
Yeah. Okay. The third quarter.
that actually could be a good name for a pizza place.
Start to make a comeback. But yeah, King was carted off the field with a knee injury. Yeah, I actually saw the play right before we got to filming, and I feel really bad for him. I hope that it's nothing serious because that stinks. And even though it's a rival team, you don't wish that upon anybody. So, but Locklear says field goals to it. Team, and field goals. Well, this is not Alabama and LSU from a few years ago when they played in the national title with that first game in I think it was Baton Rouge. When it was like a 9-6 game or whatever, and it was all field goals that game. That's not going to be this game. Alabama's offense has evolved. That's not how that rolls. Jordan Johnson might not make the field this season, but Kelly has no choice to play young wide receivers next year. Be very interesting to see who comes out on top in spring ball. Yes, yeah. I mean, it's if you want to look past the Rose Bowl and look on to the next season, we're gonna have a lot of young guys having to step up and make some noise. So it's what makes college football so unique. It's a never-ending carousel and revolving door of players because you only get them for 4 years if you're lucky. And then you're that freak that's what's his name? Who's our old man on the team, Sean?
Oh, Sean Crawford.
Yeah, Sean Crawford. If he stayed next year, which he's not, he said he's not going to. He'd be in his 7th season with the Irish. So that's a pretty rare rare situation and exception to the rule.
No, I honestly think Crawford tries for the NFL after this season.
Have you heard if Coach Kelly decided on who's starting at center? I have not, but what I have heard, if you want to flip it, is Alabama has a center. Their center is making his first appearance, his first start for the Crimson Tide against the Fighting Irish. So that is something to key in if you're the Irish defense. I mean,
and I've said that, and this is a big thing for every team, that quarterback and center relationship, because we saw after Jarrett Patterson went down for us, there were a few botched snaps, and it took Ian Book and Josh Lugg some time to get started. And I think Zeke Correll was in there a couple times.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with all that. I know from press conferences and stuff that Notre Dame has focused on the red zone this week and third down situations. So because that were two really big glaring issues against Clemson when swapped in title game. So
welcome Reggie. He says, "Let's go shock the world, everyone. Go Irish." I hope so too.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, we have to. I mean, it's the haters on both sides, whether they're in the fan base or outside of the fan base, will never ever let it go that Notre Dame got whopped again. So got to take care of business. Buckner needs to start at some point next season with a schedule like that because 2022 and 2023 are loaded with huge.
Oh, and he's not kidding. I looked ahead at those schedules, and we have some.
We got Alabama.
Oh boy. No. Alabama's not for another 5 years yet.
Maybe I'm thinking.
But we have Ohio State. We have Ohio State coming up. Clemson comes back to South Bend, I think, in 2022. I think I could be wrong. Cincinnati.
If we play Clemson next year, we travel to Clemson, and then the following year we would travel. Well, they would travel to South Bend. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think Drew Pine is an absolute monster. I really do. He has shown some. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of snaps this season, but in his time with the Irish, in garbage time, if you will, he has had not the happy feet. And I like seeing that from quarterbacks. I like seeing poised quarterbacks. So I think it'll be a very, really big battle between Pine and Buckner. I really do.
That's what I thought, Reggie. I didn't think that Alabama started right away. It wasn't till like 2027, 28.
Playoffs. Come on, Sean. Come on.
What?
I said we're going to play Alabama next year in the playoffs. Come on.
Well, technically it will be next year, so that's true.
You're killing me here. You're killing.
That's true.
Oh, damn
what? You think wouldn't figure that out?
I like Pine as well. We will see. Must have been a typo right there. No Clemson 2021. Yeah. So then it'll be at least 3 years from now that we see Clemson back in South Bend.
Oh yeah, OSU and Clemson 2022 and 23.
Yeah. You never. I mean, you don't. Things happen to programs, man. You never know. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I mean, programs get hit with sanctions, violations. Guys get hurt. Coaches retire and go somewhere else. I mean, it's a very, very tumultuous, world in the college football world. So, I mean, just because they're good now doesn't mean they're good those years. So you just don't know.
This is the segment of the show where Ben bashes Ohio State.
No, it's
But it's funny. It's funny, Ben.
What happened with Notre Dame? Okay, look what happened with us. We had a season where we won 4 games. I mean, in the last 10 years, you want to talk about lapses and having a bad season. I mean, remember that year with Kaiser or whatever? I mean, come on. So
yeah,
it happened. It really. I mean, I'm not. But if we want to talk about Ohio State, then we'll go there. Okay.
And the funny thing is, Ben, I gotta say this. There's actually people. Well, I shouldn't say people, but a person that actually thinks that you're an Ohio State fan.
Yes, there is. We all know who that is. But
he can suck a fat one.
So yeah, we'll talk about this because it's the nightcap, if you will. Clemson and Ohio State. I don't know about you, Sean, but I think Clemson is just going to mop the floor with Ohio State. I mean.
Oh, I want them to.
Ohio State struggled against Northwestern. Okay, Northwestern held them to 22 points in the title game, and then they had to have basically a come from behind victory against Indiana, which I'm not taking anything away from Northwestern and Indiana. I mean, Northwestern, other than Ohio State, has been one of the most consistent, Big Ten teams that there is. I mean, other than OSU, so. Patrick Gerald has done a great job in Evanston with the Wildcats, and I'll give him that. But I don't – even if a really good Ohio State team shows up against Clemson, Clemson mops the floor. I say 49-0 Clemson over Ohio State. That's what I say.
So you're calling a big goose egg, huh?
Yep.
That's a pretty bold prediction there, Ben. But real quick, Bob Walker, and by the way, we got to give a special shout out to Bob. This guy has been with us since day one, going back to when we first started in February. He is, I don't know. I mean, Craig is awesome too. Oh hell, it's a tie with Bob Walker and Craig Sebring for number one.
Take time out of your day to come visit us. you're awesome. Let's just say that. I mean, y'all are awesome.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. I guess I shouldn't have said that because it's hard to point out one individual person because Craig is here a lot. It's just Bob Walker. He's always like pretty much Bob Walker's pretty much the first to show up and the last to leave, even though it was Craig who showed up first tonight, I believe. But you guys, you two in particular, are really awesome, and it's great being having you guys in our viewer fan base, if you will. But Bob asks a good question here. Hey guys, do you think the Irish promote a D coordinator from existing coaches or have a hire from the outside? And it's funny you mentioned that, Bob. When Ben wasn't available and I had on our friend and I'm gonna start calling George a colleague because he pretty much is. Yeah. Our colleague George Bashura, who filled in for Ben.
Yep, over at Shakedown the Thunder Sports.
Yep, over at Shakedown the Thunder Sports. Got it here. I'm glad you remembered. I forgot to give him a plug. He deserves a plug. But George brought up a really good point. If you hire somebody from the outside, that is a whole new system that you have to learn. And the way things are going right now, you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah,
because things have been going great with our defense. So I think it's going to be the first one, Bob, and they're probably going to promote Mike Elston to defensive coordinator.
Best advice to start an ND podcast. Okay,
Are we even able to give advice? We're still pretty small, dude. I mean, we've had a little surgence.
Maybe you're right.
That Alabama preview gave us a nice surge, but we're still only at like 174 subs. But at the same time, we've accomplished that in less than a year, so that's got to mean something. Something good.
Best advice.
I'll just say it then.
First off, ignore the noise. Okay, ignore the noise. There's always going to be haters and naysayers, and as the quote goes, if you stop at every dog and throw stones at them, you'll never reach your destination. So just do you. And then the second thing I'll say is, stay consistent. Okay, if you want something to be successful, especially when it comes to a podcast, even if it's once a week, like us, for the most part, we do once a week. Okay, make it once a week. Don't, you take a week off here, you take a week off there. I mean, things happen. I get that, but don't let that be a bad habit. That's a very, very bad habit. Keep it consistent. People want consistency. It shows that you are committed. And the third and final thing is, love it. Love what you do. It's a grind. We do a lot behind the scenes. We've had some special guests on the show. We've had, some famous alums on the show. We've had media personalities on the show and stuff. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. Love the grind. If you love the grind, you'll go far. If you don't love the grind and you ain't willing to put in the work, it's not going to take off. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and myself personally, I'll be the first one to admit I have let the noise get to me a little bit. And Ben, obviously you know that. But you are right, though. One thing that I do follow very well, or that we follow very well, I should say, is we do keep ourselves out there. We keep making appearances and keeping ourselves fresh.
And I guess the fourth and final is stay the course. Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time. Unless you get really, 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 really lucky, it's going to take time to build your base. We've been at it for almost a year now. We're creeping up on a year, and we're at 174 subs. It takes time. It really does take time, so don't get discouraged when the numbers aren't what you think they should be. We all have high expectations of where we want to be, and that's a good thing. That's a really, really good motivator, but it's not going to happen overnight. So, yeah.
Yeah, and also it's funny too. I have to mention this, and this isn't trying to pat ourselves on the back or anything like that, but it's funny. we had a couple of guys this weekend. I'm not going to mention their names, but we had this other podcast come and talk some.
We call not just podcast.
What?
Can you call them a podcast?
I know it's true. Well, I'm getting to that point. But we had this quote unquote podcast come to us on, I think it was
the Alabama video.
It was the Alabama video? I thought it was the other one.
It was the preview. Okay.
Well, these guys came on talking not just trash about the game, but they were talking some personal smack towards us, saying that our show was crap and that we didn't draw anything, we were boring. But I look on these guys' page, and they've been on for 6 years.
Yep.
6 years. And all that they've accomplished, 15 subscribers and 130 total video views.
Right.
Okay, not only have we done more than that in 1 year, but we did more than that in one video than those guys have ever done in their entire existence.
But to take a step back, it's hard to do. I mean, let's just, there's your example, okay? They're putting out a product, and they've been here for 6 years, and they got 15 subs, okay? I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard. It's hard. It is. And research the shit out of what you're wanting to do. Learn how to manipulate the YouTube algorithm. If you know how to tag videos and stuff, you will get exponentially better views than what you could get. So those are the free advice, if you will.
Now, when you say learn the YouTube algorithm, could that even include putting in a tag that isn't even relevant to the topic?
It can. I mean, it depends on. I always say it depends on situations too. I mean, like Alabama is a huge marquee matchup, and there's a broader spectrum. So it's the college football playoff. So, I mean, if you go, instead of saying, okay, this is an Alabama Notre Dame video, we'll do, Mac Jones as a tag, and we'll do Najee Harris as a tag, and we'll do Ian Book as a tag, and we'll do Nick Saban as a tag. You go college football playoff as a tag. You go
all those I used as tag.
Ohio State as a tag. Ohio State as a tag. Clemson as a tag. Even though they have nothing to do with your video. That's stuff that really gets you more views. Stuff like that. So, and that's shit that I didn't know. I didn't know any of this. I went and watched videos and researched and did all that. And that's stuff that I learned. I mean, and you wouldn't think of it. You wouldn't until somebody brings it up. So,
Dean Locklear, are you thinking about starting one?
It sounds like he is. I can't wait.
Podcast. You thinking about starting a podcast of your own or a YouTube show?
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off because it is hot in this house, dude.
Dude, nobody wants to see you strip. Knock it off.
I'm not. I promise.
But also, just to go back and answer a couple of comments, Crimson Brave says, I like the 4 teams that are in. I did not want A&M to get in just because they've already got blown out at Tuscaloosa, and they haven't looked any better. Why put them with us again? That's a great point.
Well, plus, I don't know. I mean, it's really, really hard to say, like, who deserves it and who doesn't. I mean, Ohio State playing 6 games is kind of a hard stretch for me. I was very shocked that a lot of people gave them the quote-unquote nod. I think A&M was the second best team in the SEC. I think Florida played a very, 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 very phenomenal game against Alabama. And if you put Alabama and Florida against each other 4 out of 5 times, I think Alabama steamrolls them with the current team that they have. So I don't know. I think A&M got better as the season went on, and I think that they should have been the 4th team as opposed to Ohio State. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, it is. It's hard. You just don't know what needs to happen, and I think that we're all on, probably in the same wavelength with this, is the playoffs need to expand. I mean, it needs to be a situation where you got all the Power Fives. If you win your conference, you're in. There's that.
Yeah.
You got the 5 big ones, and then you have at large, like we used to have in the BCS era, teams like Cincinnati and Boise State and Hawaii that one year and stuff that had undefeated records, that you really don't know what you got. Are they really that good? Or are they okay and they're playing not so great opponents?
Well, and Crimson Brave does make a point here too. Ohio State did also win their conference and went undefeated, and they also have a top 10 win. So that is true.
But the top 10 win came against Indiana, which was a come from behind victory for Ohio State. And I mean, who else did they play? I mean, Alabama played good teams. Notre Dame played good teams. Clemson played good teams. I mean, Ohio State didn't play as good of teams as Notre Dame, Alabama, Clemson, and even A&M. I mean, so I don't know. It's crazy.
I'm sorry, but I'm seeing this one comment. But going back to the podcast, the quote podcast that badmouth us, Bob Walker says, "I reckon they have big families with 15 subscribers."
Yeah, no kidding.
And Dean, if you that's awesome. If you guys do start a podcast or a YouTube channel, we will definitely make sure to check it out. And also one other piece of advice I want to give since I brought it up. When you guys do your show, make sure you try and do the best that you can to be fluent in your speech. I have not always.
Don't talk like Sean.
Well, something. If we weren't trying to make this a borderline PG-13 show, I'd tell you that I'd say F you, but I'm not going to go there. But seriously though, what I'm getting at is, Ben, you can concur with me on this. We have heard a few podcasts, mainly one in particular, where the guys are just talking in monotone like this, and that this is how they talk, and it's almost like they're a robot, and it's like they are reading. It's like they're reading from a script. Hi everyone. My name is Sean. I really want to tell Ben to F off after what he just told me. Seriously though, that's what they sound like.
Hold on, impression. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Of that show that we're talking about.
I like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's with the playoffs and stuff. Back to that, I don't know. It's like some of these teams, you just don't know what you got, and that's the thing. I mean, I don't know, but
Oh, and also one other thing, Dean. Social media. Start a Facebook page, a Twitter. Get yourself out there. Start relationships with other podcasters like Ben and I have done. Just all that stuff, and also equipment. I made it a mission to get myself a microphone.
Yeah,
because I really wanted to try to sound like like radio quality. Maybe this isn't exactly radio quality, but it's a lot better than just the microphone that comes on the computer.
Well, thanks, Sean. No, I'm kidding. He's right. He's totally right. But let's see. Trying to catch up with stuff. Yeah, and okay. Playoff committee should have said from the outset that all teams had to start playing by a certain date or you're out of consideration. I agree with that. We said that from the get-go. The SEC, the Big 12, and the ACC were all like, we're playing. We're doing this. We're playing. Anybody wants to join us, great. If not, fine too. Let's go. And then it took a while for the Big Ten, and there was a certain program that decided to really muck it up for the Big Ten. Not going to name names. Oh, wait, yeah, I will. Michigan decided to really muck it up, and that doesn't surprise me at all because you can't spell scum without UM.
Yep.
But, yeah, no, it's just been a mess. I mean, so to say that we even had football in this crazy year that has been 2020 is saying something. So there's that.
Yeah, Crimson also says, now that I disagree, I do not want the playoffs to expand. 4 is enough. Already get blowouts. Only 3 good teams in the first round. Not to mention it just makes the regular season meaningless.
Yeah, I mean, I can see kind of the gap. There is kind of a gap between talent. It's not like the FCS level, but
only 3 good teams in the first round. You mean 4, right?
Well, maybe he's talking about Ohio State, Sean.
He could. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, calm down.
No, every year we have seen one team really get hammered. I mean, I don't think there has been a year yet that there hasn't been a team that gets hammered. And
you can't spell scrotum without UM. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not up to us anyway. So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah,
Craig, that's called my family reunion. He says when the pandemic clears, we should get a bunch of us Notre Dame fans together around a bar, sit and watch a game together, and have a few beers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it'd be a lot of fun to do something like that. It would hurt other bowls too. Yeah, I mean, but then again, I mean, come on, unless you were born in the 2000s, I mean, we all remember that there didn't used to be this many bowl games. I mean, I remember that we had, 4, maybe 5 like major bowl games, and that was it. I mean, you had the Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and the Rose Bowl. And then,
the Peach had been there too.
And the Peach had been there,
The 6 major bowl games in the NY6, they've always been there. The Independence has always been there. The Citrus, the Gator, the Sun Bowl has been there since the 40s.
We didn't have the Cheez-It Bowl, and we didn't have. I mean,
you mean the Pineapple Bowl?
The Pineapple. Shut up. Shut up, God. But yeah, so I don't know. He's
so testy, people.
I mean, in a normal year, and another podcast said this too. 4 Horsemen were talking about this. When the bowl season comes around, I mean, I go hog wild. I watch all the bowls. I get excited. I put bets on games. I have a lot of fun with it, and it is a lot of fun. And especially for most of us that, are average Joes that can't watch every team every weekend and can't afford to watch every team every weekend due to all these different networks that they have now and stuff. You get to the bowl season and all the games are on, the easier to get channels, and you get to see teams that you don't normally get to see. And I like that. I like college football in general. I love college football. I'm a Notre Dame fan first and foremost, but if you wanted me to sit down and watch a game between, whoever and whoever, I'd sit down and watch it with you. I love college football. So I think it's a very unique and amazing sports, world. So, that's that. But this year's just been a bummer.
Well, Bob, Ben opened that wide open for me to make the Pineapple Bowl comment, so blame him. Dean Locklear says there's playoffs in high school and the NFL. Expanding the playoffs to 8 is a must. Yes, there's blowouts now, but still, any given day, any team can get beat. And we've been saying that. Excuse me. We've been pretty much saying that all week. That's true. So I mean, all the people that were that are saying that we have no chance need to remember that. I mean, even if the worst does happen to us on Friday, that still doesn't change that fact.
When I was growing up in the 70s, we had 4 major bowls: Cotton, Sugar, Rose, and Orange, and a few others, and that was it. You had to win 7 or 8 games to make a bowl. Yes, I agree. I mean, this year's unique. I get it. They wanted to make something out of nothing, and they, kind of did away with the schedules. and results and all that. I get that. But yeah, on a normal year, you ain't having a 6-6 team making a bowl game. You got to have a winning record.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And it should be something of pride to get into a bowl game, not just something that you kind of expect. And I think a lot of teams expect to make a bowl game. Hawaii gets a bowl game almost every year, and they're nothing. And that's not a knock on Hawaii, but I mean it's hard for them to recruit. I get it. You're on an island, so I mean, yeah, you should have a winning record to make a bowl game. Period. I agree.
And also, I just realized something. The 6 major bowl games, no, they haven't all been there. The Fiesta Bowl didn't come around until like 1988.
Yeah.
87, 88, somewhere in there.
But I mean, now Fiesta Bowl's respected.
Yes.
It's a big name thing, and we've only seen like 1 year since 88 where it was kind of not. And that was because of some embezzlement by a head honcho in the Fiesta Bowl committee that kind of screwed things up that year.
Well, and also with all the major bowl games, Fiesta included, and the Peach Bowl, in addition to the 4 that we're talking about right now, it was also set up differently too. Like, I mean, yes, you had to win 7 to 8 games to make a bowl in general, but I remember the bowls were arranged by some other organization. What was it? The CCA or something like that? No, it was the CBA. I forget, what does that stand for? Is it the College Bowl Association?
Something like that.
Because Notre Dame, one year in the early 90s, they made what bowl game was it? I think it was the Fiesta Bowl that they made with a 6-4-1 record.
Yeah. Fiesta Bowl started in 71. Oh yeah.
Really?
Wow.
I thought it was the 80s.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Damn. Shows you what I know. Damn.
Yeah.
What were we saying about researching? Okay, I failed. Sorry.
Yeah. That's yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's cool, and there are some silly ones. I think the sponsorships is kind of what screwed things up in recent years. You get the sponsorship, and then it's the sponsored by whoever bowl. I looked that.
Thanks, Craig.
There you go. But yeah, I think they need better names, and I think that's kind of one of the quote unquote downsides to all of it.
Well, as I mentioned, if they kept the bowl game, the bowl name and the sponsor separate, it would work perfectly. Because like I've said many times, all these sponsors, even for the major bowl games, they come and go. Okay, Tostitos used to sponsor the Fiesta Bowl. Now it's the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, and there was, I think, Battle Frog was in there before, and for the longest time it was the FedEx Orange Bowl. Now, who sponsors it now?
I don't even know who is sponsoring it this year. That's a good question.
Is it Verbo?
Huh?
Is it Verbo, VRBO?
Maybe.
Or is that another one?
Yeah, but I mean, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, is now a big Chick-fil-A
but the point
Peach Bowl.
But the point that I'm getting, I just want to finish real quick. The point that I'm getting at is, even if a new sponsor comes in, that bowl game is still called by that name. It's just the sponsor that changes. So if they were to go that route, I mean, I think the fans would enjoy it more. I think it brings some more tradition to it, which I think there are a lot of people out there that are looking for that kind of thing. And maybe there's a crap load of people that just don't care. Myself, I care about that kind of thing.
Yeah, and so do I. Yeah, no, I maybe you're right. Maybe there are some people that just don't care.
But go ahead with your point, dude. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That train's left the station. I lost it, so I'm going to go to Craig.
Sorry.
Bryant is 0-3 versus Notre Dame. Yes, I did know that, and it's a kind of interesting nugget that I think a lot of people don't know. But Brian Kelly and the Irish got to step it up. That's all. That's all I got to say. And I'm, as an Irish fan, I am tired of hearing the same broken record over and over and over again. That it just I want to hear an end to it. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of hearing it from all these other no-name fans of no-name teams. It's one thing to hear it from an Alabama fan. It's one thing to hear it from a Clemson fan. Hell, I'll even give it to LSU and Ohio State. But when I'm hearing it from, Fighting Illini fans, I'm hearing it from Northwestern fans, I'm hearing it from Oregon fans or whoever, I don't want to hear that, man. You guys haven't done anything. I don't want to. No.
They have no room to talk.
So
and actually, I think I know. Oh, go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, it's that's all I got to say with that. So.
And I was just gonna say, I think I know all three of those games that the Bear lost to Notre Dame. It was the first two were back-to-back years in the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl respectively, and then the other one, I think it was in. I think it was in 1980. I could be wrong on the year, but all I know is Notre Dame won the game 7-0. And this is how it transpired. Bama was driving. They got the ball to the Notre Dame 2-yard line. They fumbled. Notre Dame got the ball. They drive downfield, score a touchdown, and the final score of the game was 7-0 Notre Dame.
Yeah,
and that was in Tuscaloosa.
It happens.
Actually, Dwayne. No, yeah, never mind. He's right.
Yeah, Alabama is 2-5 against ND. Yes, yeah. So where are we? Is there someone on offense, defense for the Irish that's going to make an impact against Alabama that no one is really talking about at the moment?
One guy that stands out for me on offense, I think, is it comes down to a couple of guys. Tommy Tremble. Even though we mentioned him earlier, Michael Mayer's getting talked about more than he is.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Javon McKinley, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I think, if we had guys that were actually on the roster that aren't on the roster currently, I would be saying them, but they're not on the roster. So there you go. But I think this is going to be a team. Has to be a team game against Alabama. Notre Dame. Ian Book has to play well for Notre Dame. He has to have the same performance that he had against Clemson in November against Alabama if Notre Dame wants to keep pace. Guys like Kyle Hamilton have to step up and make big plays this game. The Alabama wide receiver core is phenomenal. So, they are going to be in for a rude awakening if they don't come to play against that Alabama receiving core.
Well, and also, as I said last time in the preview, actually it was it might have been the recap of the ACC championship, but regardless of when I said it, I still said it. Our receiving core has to get separation from the defenders. That's what led to Ian Book having happy feet.
Well, yeah, the line gave him no time either. I mean, the line in the receiving core for us was just bad. Bad. So
our players, Bama, talked a lot about number 6 today at the press conference. See who number 6.
That's
God, I'm better with names than I am numbers.
That's Koromoa, Sean.
Oh yeah, Jeremiah Wusu Koromoa.
Yeah,
I'm good with names, bad with numbers.
Yeah, I mean, he's a stud, but football is not a one-player game. It's not like basketball in that sense. You can't have one really, 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 really good player and everybody else can be okay. Football, look at Mac Jones and Najee Harris and Devonta Smith, and I mean, it just goes on and on and on with Alabama. Names.
We were talking about number 6 for us, Dwayne.
They all do a lot. They all do their jobs. I mean, that's that. And I come back to this point every season. Okay, go look You're bad with numbers, Sean. I won't have you do my taxes. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
But,
you know what, Bob? If I sent for that comment, I'd make sure that you had to pay the government.
come on. But no.
Yeah, in your face, Bob.
Where was I going? Oh, I say this every year. Every year, I can give you the greatest example there is at talking about you got to play as a team and not individual. Okay, before the Patriots were the Patriots. Okay, I mean like the Tom Brady Belichick dynasty that is and was at this point. Okay, the Patriots went and beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. Okay, when the Patriots beat the Rams, how many big namers did everybody know? None. How many big namers did they have? None. Everybody did their job. They all knew the plan. They all executed correctly. They made very little mistakes in that game against the Rams, and they took care of business and won a Super Bowl with a bunch of no-name guys. And that's how it goes. You can have guys that aren't great. Okay, do we talk about the offensive linemen that make the blocks every time? No, we don't. We talk about the quarterback making the 50-yard touchdown pass. Do we talk about the guys that make tackles in open space? For a second, we do. But then as the game moves on, we talk about the interception by Kyle Hamilton. We don't talk about the good tackle by one of the defensive linemen.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are really, honestly, they're the unsung heroes.
But I mean, yeah, and football is a team sport, period. And it'll continue to be that, and that is what makes Clemson and Alabama and Ohio State on good years so good, is that they have guys that all do their jobs week in, week out, and make plays.
Oh, yeah.
That's it, So Notre Dame's got to do that. They all got to make plays, and they got to do their job, period. You do your job, the score will take care of itself. Do your job.
John Dowse is absolutely right, and this was said already, but you can't say it enough. We need touchdowns on offense, not field goals. Like you said, Ben, this is not going to be like Alabama and LSU in the national title game a few years ago. This is not going to be a 9-6 game. There's going to be some points scored in the game.
That one was actually the regular season game.
I thought it happened in the championship game too.
Championship, Alabama was angry because LSU ended up winning 9-6. And then LSU went undefeated. And LSU was undefeated coming into the championship. And Alabama didn't even play in the SEC championship that year. LSU did.
Well, regardless of what game it was,
Alabama put on a show against LSU in that title. But yeah, I mean that matchup, was I think it was 1 versus 2 in the matchup. And yeah, the final score was 9-6 LSU. And it came down to a field goal. And I mean, that's like you said, it's not going to happen this game.
Yeah, exactly. Regardless of what game it was. Yeah, it's not. This one is not going to be a 9-6 game on Friday. There's going to be a lot of points scored, whether that's a close game or lopsided, which a lot of people think is going to happen. And like I said, even if that does happen, I'm still with my guys all the way. But yeah, no, this ain't going to be no 9-6 final score. Absolutely not.
No. Yeah, LSU couldn't cross the 50. Yeah, LSU was very inept in that game. I remember watching that game and I'm like, where the heck is LSU at? What the? And it's funny and not funny because their fan base talked so much trash. We want Alabama. We want to beat them real bad. We want them. And then they got Alabama and they couldn't do jack squat against Alabama.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you talk shit and it backfires and makes you look like a complete idiot.
Right.
So that's just how the cookie crumbles, man. Especially in a situation like that.
Yep. So
but yeah, seeing Craig and Bob talking about pizza, I'm starting to get pretty hungry here. I haven't had dinner yet. Well, you see, I couldn't because after I got off work, I had a dental appointment, and then we got dumped with a snowstorm here, so I had a lot of shoveling to do. And obviously, after you get your teeth cleaned, you can't eat right away anyway. So, But yeah, anybody else have another quick question or anything for us?
Yeah, if not, then it's yeah, Bama was pissed. Yes, Bama was mad, and that's you give people motivation that you don't need to give them like that. I've seen it in the NFL. If the Irish beat Alabama,
I forgot about that. Yeah,
would you rather play Clemson a third time or Ohio State? I would rather play Ohio State. Like, not gonna lie, I do not want to play Clemson the third time. I think Clemson is a way better team than Ohio State. Could Ohio State get lucky and beat Clemson? Sure, they could. It's football. But if I had to pick, I would take Ohio State over Clemson playing wise in the national title. A third time would be insane. I don't want to play Clemson again. Sorry, I just don't.
Craig asks, how much snow did we get? It's actually still snowing right now, but we're looking at getting like 3 to 5 inches. And plus, it's supposed to rain here in the middle of the night. So basically, we're looking at slush tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Sean's a little more north than me. We got a dusting here. I'm in Illinois as well. We got a dusting here, but it's supposed to snow a little more. So we'll see what happens. It's getting pretty nasty out. I've been running errands all day. I took the week off. So we'll see. But
Dwayne asked, what was it?
You go first.
I was gonna say Dwayne asked what everybody's score prediction was. I forgot what I said. I think I did think it was going to be pretty high scoring. I said I think I said us like 45-42 or something like that in the preview.
Yeah, I mean I had us winning. I think mine was like 49-42 or 42-38 or something like that. It was pretty high scoring. So yeah, and then finally, Dabo throwing shade at Ohio State. Yeah, they are. But that's their game and neither of our team's games, so we'll just let that play out and see what happens there. So, and
16 viewers is what we're at right now. That's the most we've ever had on a live stream that we've done on this show.
That is impressive.
Thank you all for making that possible, and hopefully we get a chance to grow on that number as time goes along.
Yep. So anyway, Sean, if you got nothing else, I got nothing else.
I still want to put a petition out for the Pineapple Bowl to be an actual bowl game. Come on, that's a cool name. And actually, I don't know if I ever explained this, but that name I originally got from the TV show Coach.
Yes,
because that was one of the fictional bowls that they played in on that show.
On that, yeah.
But what a lot of people don't realize is there actually used to be a real Pineapple Bowl that was played. It was now this was before Hawaii became a state, but the University of Hawaii, this was like back in the 40s and I think early 50s. It did take a little hiatus, because of the war and stuff. But the Pineapple Bowl used to be the University of Hawaii versus a team from the mainland, and I'm sure that was whoever Hawaii invited.
Yeah,
but there actually used to be a real Pineapple Bowl, of actual name, and I'm just surprised that nobody has thought to bring that name back. I mean, you have other fruits. Why not the pineapple? But Ben, seriously though, you said strawberry could be a perfect name for that bowl.
Strawberry would be a great bowl game name. So,
I like that.
I mean, and like I said, you got to know history, and I think before we get going really bad, I think bowl games should have a deeper history and meaning than just the names. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. And we'll save that for another show at a later date. But
Bob Walker says my wife's family lives in Rock Island, and sister-in-law, she put up a video on Facebook of your snow, Sean. Yeah, then she knows what I'm talking about. It's pretty bad up here.
Yeah,
because I'm in the Quad Cities. And like Bob Walker, he pulled a Beavis and Butthead here. Oh, he said fruits. Man, everything becomes dirty. You can't say you can't.
Hey, normally I'm the one that the tomato bowl.
Good
Maybe
work.
the bad teams in the tomato bowl since you throw tomatoes at them. I don't know. But yeah, no, I don't know. So yeah, I got nothing else, Sean. What about you?
I do have one more thing. How about the moist bowl? Since we're going with things that are perceived as dirty.
No. We're cutting it off.
The maxi tampon moist bowl.
If you're gonna do that, I'm out. See ya. Goodbye.
Oh, come on. This is what the people love. You guys love this, don't you?
No.
Come on. The maxi tampon moist bowl. I love it. That's great.
No.
Hey, I could get a whole lot worse with this if you wanted me to.
Okay, let's just cut it there. Like
Oh, come on, Ben. Before we go, you come up with one dirty bowl name.
one dirty bowl game?
No. One dirty name for a bowl. Come on.
We already have a good one, which is the lingerie bowl. I mean,
for college, not for women. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the lingerie bowl. Don't get me wrong, but come on, you gotta give one. You have to take time to think this on your own. No help. But yes, Craig has the pantyhose bowl. Dwayne has the banana-rama bowl. Okay, Kyle already had the tomato bowl. But those aren't really dirty. You got to think of one dirty one, Ben. We'll stay on the air until you think of one.
The Hooters Jugs Bowl.
I like it. The Hooters Jugs Bowl. Dean Locklear says the diaphragm bowl. See, now, which diaphragm are you talking about? There's two different kinds. There's the diaphragm in your stomach that you use to help you sing better. And then there's the other diaphragm that women use for, well, you know. Craig Sebring, the balls bowl. It's true. It's a actual thing. What are you getting all pissed off at me for?
I'm not getting mad.
I already have one mother and father, Ben. The Suckered Bowl sponsored by Tootsie Pops. I like that one. the Pecker Bowl for woodpeckers. The Condom Bowl. Okay, that's a good one.
The Condom Bowl. Hey, if we do the Condom Bowl, then we need to have both of the different Trojan teams play each other, and that's USC and Troy.
Oh, Dwayne, the Playtex Cooter Bowl.
Anyway.
Okay, now I don't think we can stop now. This is getting too good.
All right. We're going to cut it off right here.
Oh man, I got a few to use, but I can't say it.
No, let's not. Let's not do that. I like my job a lot, Sean. Okay, I think you like yours too.
Yeah, but hey, this is the stuff that could make us famous, man.
No, yeah,
we get a little Howard Stern going on the show. A little bit of that.
We are not Howard Stern. No.
Dean Locklear, the Dickie Doo Bowl. Let's see. Oh, hang on. I got one more that's dirty, but it's not filthy. No, actually, yes, it is. So never mind. Should I still say it though? The sponsor's Planters Nuts. So use your imagination.
These Nuts Bowl.
Well, I was gonna say the Scrotum Bowl, but okay.
Well, then Michigan's playing in that one. Come on.
Okay, yeah, there you go. The Planters Nuts Scrotum Bowl, Michigan versus at large,
which would be Sean.
Okay, that was unintentional. That was unintentional. I did not mean that the way it sounded.
Oh,
that was not. I swear to God, that was not planned. That was not planned, but it just happened to work out perfectly. Yeah, the Planters Nuts Scrotum Bowl, Michigan versus at large. God, that last part, I swear to God, was not planned. Oh wow,
I'm fired.
This is where all right, this is where the shit gets raw, people.
All right. I got nothing.
Bob Walker has something. The Penis Bowl, sponsored by Head and Shoulders. Head in capital letters.
Oh man.
So hey, and if do you think any players that have a problem? I'm not trying to get political here, but do you think that anyone's going to be taking a knee in that bowl game? And in other news today, this is ESPN reporting today in the Penis Bowl, in the Head and Shoulders Penis Bowl. So many players got down on their knees in this one.
All right.
Yeah, take a knee. Take a knee in the Penis Bowl. All right. Okay.
We're done.
I guarantee you all the people are loving this, though. I guarantee it. Because you guys have been some of the contributors here. It hasn't. we're just listening to what you guys say.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway,
all right. Hey,
dinner. You need dinner.
Think if I made posters for some of these games.
No.
What they would look like.
No. Go on. No.
Okay. Bad. I won't.
I get the broom. Bad.
I won't, Ben. You can trust me on that.
Heard that one before too. Not from you though.
All right. I got to read this last one from Dwayne. The Maxi Pad Camel Toe Bowl. Now, don't you think that YouTube user, what's his name, 8 Camel Toes or something like that? Don't you think he'll be offended by that?
Yeah.
The hippie looking guy with the glasses who BVD featured him on a live stream, and damn, that guy's a terrible singer. Holy cow. Yeah. So Dwayne, you were there, you saw it, you know what I'm talking about.
So we are the two Irish brothers. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to the game. Hope everybody had an absolutely fantastic and wonderful Christmas, holiday season, whatever you do. If you liked this video, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe. If you're new here, most of you guys are loyal and normal visitors. But if you are new, please hit that subscribe button.
Yes. And hold on one sec, Dwayne. This is not another bowl game name, but yeah, Dwayne. That you said that guy is nasty. I thought he looked like the Cowardly Lion with that hair. But he's just annoying. So all right, guys, this is where we're gonna end it. We'll do it the regular way. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. For the two Irish brothers, I'm Indy Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
God bless, good night, and go Irish, baby.
Go Irish.